If you've ever had trouble writing ad copy, either in the ideation or the strategy of how to execute it on Google search ads, well, you're not alone. Most people don't spend enough time thinking about what their ad copy should be. For an advertising platform that is completely text-based. So if you're making this mistake for your business or for the company you work for, you're probably leaving a lot of money on the table to your competitors. And how do I know that? Well, I've created probably more than 10 million Google search ads. We'll talk about the strategy in terms of creation and in terms of testing so that over time you can grow your business, you can grow your product line on Google search. So in our previous Google Ads tutorial video, we worked on the structure for your Google search campaigns and your ad groups and your keywords. We had two examples. We have my site, which is called The Gift Yak. It's an affiliate business. And then I also took an example from Shutterfly, which is a very large e-commerce business. Let me know in the comments if there are any other businesses you'd like me to mock up some ad copy for. I'm happy to do that for you. If you got maybe lead gen or maybe you're in a SaaS business. But we're going to follow that same guiding principle from the last video, and we're going to continue on in the same path. And we want to do this in a Google Sheet or in an Excel document. And there's a big reason why. One, it's very easy to organize this. Two, in the next Google Ads video that you see, we're going to be showing you how to upload all of this programmatically through Google Ads Editor. And you're going to want and need this data in a spreadsheet format. So that's why we're in Google Sheets right now. This was our search account plan from a very high level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue this process and I'm going to move over here. All I really want to look at right now are my keywords, and then I'm going to develop some ads. Now there are some core principles you need to understand for Google search ads. There are limits to how much text you can have, and there are best practices to what your text should be. So email marketing software is one of the more expensive categories to target on Google. It's very competitive. The clicks cost a lot because companies are willing to bid against each other. And as a reminder, Google search is an auction platform. So long as your bid is higher than your competitors, you will win that auction. There are some things that come into play like quality score. I already talked about that as well. And writing very hyper-tailored ad copy, really good ad copy, really direct response ad copy is going to improve your quality score. And so I think it's fair to look at what the principles for an ad are. The first is you have 3 headlines. Right here, we're only seeing 2 of them, all right? So you have the first one. This is 30 characters. Then you have the second one. That's also 30 characters. And then finally, you can have a third headline that was introduced maybe 2 years ago for Google. Primarily, it gets truncated and added on mobile, and it doesn't always show, as you can see. I'm assuming these guys have a third headline, but it's just not showing right now. And then down here, you're going to end up seeing what are called description lines. These can be 90 characters long, and you can have 2 of them. Right here, we are only seeing 1. There are some ad extensions below that, and we'll talk about ad extensions in this video as well. So this is generally what an ad looks like on Google search. And we'll get into the specifics of how they're writing, how these marketers are writing these ads and why they might be writing them that way. But first step for me will be to set up our structure for writing the ads. Before we get into building the structure, there are also paths that you can add to the end of a URL. These aren't as important anymore, but you can see Twilio is adding email_marketing. Emaris is adding email marketing. And that's an area where you can keyword stuff a little bit. All right, so we've set up our structure here. As you recall, we talked about headlines. They can be 30 characters long. Descriptions can be 90 characters. And then the paths can be 15 characters. A good practice when you're in your spreadsheet is to use the function called len, or length. All you do is type equals LEN, and then you point it on the cell that you want. All right, so we're going to point it on headline 1, and then all we're going to do is move it to the right. We're going to highlight all those cells, and then I'm going to hit Control R. That's going to fill my formula to the right. And you'll see now all of my lengths point to all of my specific cells that I'm going to write. And then I can do the same. I can just fill it down with highlight all those formulas and then hit Control D, and there you go. And so now if I type in that, it's going to pop up 15, or if I type in that, it will pop up 17, right? And guess what we need that for? Well, We want to make sure that when we're writing the ad copy, that we are not going over our character limits. You can even highlight these cells and go up to format. You can do conditional formatting, and you can say, hey, if it's greater than, meaning the number here, if it's greater than 30, I want you to put a red, right? And then if I happen to write a really long title that doesn't fit, it will show me in red. Now, I'm going to remove this just for now because I don't think I need it, but I would recommend using it if you're doing a really long programmatic build, meaning you're building more than a couple ad variations. For instance, I've built over 250,000 ads at one time. When you're on very large accounts, you need to find creative ways to build those programmatically, and conditional formatting is very helpful. So I'm going to remove that for now. There's one big thing you want to do before you even get into this. All right, we're going to end up writing one ad copy variation, but there's a bigger principle outside of writing the actual ad copy, which is, what do you want to test? So you need to have a testing strategy that you set up first and foremost. And generally, this comes down to testing by theme. And what do I mean by theme? Well, realistically, I mean a value proposition. What is the value proposition for your business, or for your service, or for your product, right? What are you selling, and why are you great at it? Why are you better than your competitors? Why should somebody click your ad, okay? Because clickbait stuff isn't gonna drive sales for you on Google search. It's just not. You can write really clickbait headlines like a news article, and that's your worst nightmare because you are paying every time somebody clicks, and if they're not qualified, you're just burning money. And so you want to be very specific about what you're looking to test. So the way I would think about it is just pick 1 or 2 word value props, all right, and then write ad copy around those. So for instance, let's go to email marketing, and we'll pick this Twilio. All right. So this is what I would first do, assuming I worked at Twilio and I was trying to write ad copy. I'd look at the landing page and I'd say, okay, so scale, right? Getting scale for email marketing is huge. Maybe I write an ad that is specifically, the value prop is around scale, right? Grow your business, expand your reach, target new customers, unlock growth potential in your sector, right? Those are all words that tie back to scale that you can use as headlines or in your description. Then I'll continue. Okay, guess what? Their 5th word is deliverability. I know there's an issue in email marketing with spam emails, people getting put in the spam folder, their email doesn't get shown, big companies trying to reach their customers and they can't actually deliver those emails with their provider. So of course, deliverability is going to be an issue for us. That's a pain point for our customer. And so we might have headline that says reach 99.5% of your email list, right? Don't get held back by undelivered email. Those types of words are pain points for people who've fallen victim to those issues with other providers. And we generally want to test 4 to 6 ad variations. So you're going to want to find 4 to 6 different themes here. So let's continue. All right. Without complexity. What do you think that means? To me, that means it's simple and it's easy to use. Ease of use is huge. If you followed along with any of these videos in my YouTube, and I have a lot of them, go check them out and subscribe. As somebody building their own business, I don't have time to dig through documentation. I need something out of the box that's easy to use, and it's going to get me 80% of the way there, right? I don't need to be 100%. I don't need to get down to the minor nitty-gritty. As long as I'm getting 80% of what I need, that's fine. So ease of use is huge. So of course, I'm going to have that as one of my themes, especially for a complicated software product. And then I'll find one more. Here's something that I think we can go with, because this is a big component of marketing, and it's something that we're going to be talking about in a second, which is being able to test. Having a platform that is already embedded with the testing principles and the ability to test within the product itself is, I think, something that would resonate with an email marketer. Now, again, we're putting little fish lines in the water. We don't know what ad is going to work. I'm going to be honest, there ain't too many people in the world who've made more Google ads than me that have done it at a high level. I couldn't tell you which ad out of these is going to actually perform the best, especially with a big account that has, again, Twilio is a big company. They're going after a lot of big markets. They could have easily 20,000, 40,000 keywords, and they're all going to perform differently for each keyword. The best thing that you can do is set up a principle, a framework, and then move down the line testing the things that you think are going to be impactful. So I would say testing capabilities. So these are the 4 themes that I would pick to write some ad copy for. All right. Scale, deliverability, ease of use, testing capabilities. This is if I was writing ad copy for email marketing. And then the other big component here is what variable are you going to test? So a lot of marketers make the mistake, and a lot of small business owners make the mistake thinking that they are unique, that the rules of marketing testing do not apply to them, that they need to have every variable unique and they need to be testing everything at the same time. And I'll give you an example. I've run into clients who they want every piece of this. Let's say we were down here and we were working for an email marketing company. They want the headline, headline 2, headline 3, all different for scale, deliverability, ease of use, and testing capabilities. Let me just tell you straight up, that's a bad testing framework, because if you have all unique values in here, if you don't have a consistent variable that you're testing one at a time, you're not going to know why testing capabilities as an ad beat the other ads, right? Because there are too many moving pieces as to why one ad can outperform another unless you lock the variables. The best practice is something like this. You want to write the same headline 1, headline 3, description 1, description 2, path 1, path 2 for every ad here, all right? What you're testing is the variability here, right? So when somebody is on Google search, you want to just test this highlighted area, the headline 2. You want to find the one that resonates the best with the users. And then you want to pause the worst performers. So in this case, if we had 4 ads live, we would probably want to pause the worst performing 1 or 2 ads and then introduce 2 new tests. And so you want to build out a calendar and you want to say, okay, on week 1, I want to test headline 2. Then I'm going to take the best headline 2s and then I'm going to go down and I'm going to test description line 1. Then after I figure out the best description line, I want to figure out the best landing page, right? And you build this calendar out so that you hold yourself accountable for what comes next after you prove something out. And generally, it's not going to move this fast. I'm giving you a very short window here. You need a lot of conversion data to validate if an ad is better. So this might end up being month 1, month 2, month 3. That's fine. Don't cut the test short for the sake of appeasing someone or to finish a test for the sake of finishing a test, right? You need to get statistically significant data to understand if a test performed better. Now, there's a formula that you can set up over here to test statistical significance. Or I think just for the sake of this video, I think it's probably easier to find a testing calculator. All right, so something like this, just type in like A/B test calculator and then grab one. All you're doing is you're going to type in your data for the control. So let's say you had 200 clicks that ended up with 10 conversions versus your other variation that had, 400 clicks that had 5 conversions. All right. What it's going to tell you is the lift between the conversion rates. Okay. So you have a 5% conversion rate versus a 1.25. And then if you scroll down, at least on this page, it's saying, hey, variation 1 has 0%. It's basically the loser 100% of the time. Your best ad is the control. So this is a quick movement through here. Realistically, I should do a whole video on this and maybe I will, but the purpose still remains the same. Don't move forward until you know for sure and you have enough data from the conversion level to know which ad was the better ad. This is how you develop the strategy, right? You need to build some themes and then you need to figure out what you want to test and for how long, or how long you anticipate to test. So I'm just going to delete this for now because I want to show you how I would go through writing one version of ad copy. Now, normally I'm going to build like 4 different versions like we just talked about and figure out which piece I want to test. But let me show you how I'd write ad copy for my own website. So I have an ad group that's going to be called Mom, and this is for Valentine's Day articles that I have on my website. I'll show you. So I have this lovely article called 29 Valentine's Day Gift Ideas for Mom. And then if you scroll down, I have some Amazon products that people can buy. We've done a curated review list. And my goal is to get people to click over to Amazon and purchase. So I need to come up with ad copy that I anticipate will be the best ad copy that shows up here. So this is probably one of the search queries that we're going to target, which is just mom's Valentine's gift. And you can see up here we have shopping ads. There's no search ads on top. But if we scroll all the way down, we actually have an ad that's being run from Uncommon Gifts. And they're a website that basically has a bunch of gifts that they sell. I don't know if they actually make them themselves or if they're just buying them from other merchandisers, whatever. But they actually sell products. Unlike us, we're just an affiliate site. We're, writing review articles. So let's say we were competing against them. The first thing I want to do is I want to look at their ad, right? They're saying Uncommon Gifts for Mom. Well, it's a pretty good title for them. Their brand is called Uncommon Goods. And uncommon is also a pretty good phrase because most people don't want to buy a common gift for their loved one. They want something that's unique, personalized, and then gifts that she will actually use. So then there's a practicality to this, right? They're clearly focused on practical gift giving. So maybe they're testing this currently. Maybe they've already validated that this is a good ad. We're not going to know, right? We can only make assumptions, but I'm going to assume that's what they're doing, that they're testing the practicality of giving a gift. You don't want to give some gift to somebody that they'll never use. And then let's just read the actual ad copy. So they have this description line. It says, Mom thinks she knows you so well that you can't possibly surprise her. Prove her wrong. This really is my go-to spot for the really hard to buy for people. You shop, we give back. All right, well, let's unpack what they're talking about here. Here's what I don't like about this ad. They've only used mom in the description line. They haven't used the word gift or Valentine's gift. Maybe they're not targeting Valentine's gift. Maybe they're just targeting mom's gift. But I would like for them to have gift somewhere in here, right? Because that's just best practice. And so I think they're missing that. But if we unpack this, they're basically challenging the user. They're saying, hey, you got a mom and you want to give her a unique gift and surprise her. So you can do that with us. Then they give you a testimonial. I think this is just a testimonial. They're quoting somebody that says, hey, this is my go-to spot to get hard to get gifts, which is okay. I don't mind it. And then this ending point, right? The end of your description should generally be a call to action. So you got to tell somebody, hey, come and buy, come and get, come and look, come and see, come and watch. Whatever it is, tell them to do it. Instruct the user. In this case, they're almost doing some type of social giving call to action here. I don't particularly like it. It says, you shop, we give back. They're basically virtue signaling a little bit, right? They're saying, hey, we give some portion of our revenue to charity, I think, right? I haven't looked. So they're doing some type of virtue signaling here, which is not a bad idea, right? I mean, that works with audiences. And so that would be their kind of call to action. So it's about 3 different pieces that they have in their description line. And you should look at your competitors and try and understand what they're doing. Heck, you should probably go to their landing page and you should look and see if there's any words that you want to use in your ad. The other stuff under here is what are called ad extensions, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. So I'm going to write my ad now. And the big thing is when somebody clicks on your ad, they're expecting to land on a page that your ad talks about. Okay. So if you write a really clickbaity ad and somebody lands on your page and it has nothing to do with what you talked about, people are going to just jet out of there. All right. So you're wasting money by writing clickbaity ads. So I generally like to give the people what they're going to get. In this case, somebody who lands on my page is going to get this headline. And so it's a little bit long, but we can chop it down. I actually like that. What this is invoking is, one, there's a lot of ideas. You're going to see the best, and it's about Valentine's mom gifts. Perfect. So then I want to think about my headline too. This is normally where I'd have a structure and say, okay, here are my value props. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go off my gut because I've done this enough. How about that? In headline 3, here's a best practice. Generally, you want to write a strong call to action that is short, or if you're a big brand, you probably just want to have your brand name in there. If you're not, I would say you can have your brand plus a call to action, or you can just do a strong call to action. I don't think I need to include the gift jack. It's just going to take up valuable real estate, but I do want to give them a sense of what the brand is about. So I think I'm going to use my title up here. You see at the top, and my homepage SEO title is The Gift Jack, Find Your Next Gift, Curated Gift Ideas for Everyone. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it nice and short, and I'm going to use a call to action, and I'm going to say, find your next gift. No hubbub there. It's just very straightforward. And realize your headline 3 is probably not going to show up all that much. So description lines. These are long, right? 90 characters each. And so we got 90 characters in the first description and then another 90 in the second. Generally, one description will show, and your number one description is the most important. You can repeat ad copy in description line 2. If this is around 70 characters, it's okay. I'm not worried if it's a little short. But with these, with headline 1, headline 2, and description line 1, you generally want to fill them to the brim. Use all of your real estate. Why, you might ask? Well, look at this AWeber ad. This is great. It just feels like a big ad, right? They got 4 site links down here. They got some ad extensions here. This might be 2 description lines. It just feels like a big ad. And so you want to take up as much real estate as possible. And so make sure you're writing to the character count limits here as best you can. Right? If you get to 25, that's still good. Well, what do we want to say in the description line? I generally like to repeat keyword, then maybe do a feature, and then call to action. I'll give you an example. So that's my repeating of the keyword. And then I want to give like a feature, right? You might have a different feature depending if you have a product, service, or whatever. For me, it's more just like saying something about mom, right? Here's the feature of that is show her how much she means to you. So right now we're at 90 characters. I would like to end it with a strong call to action. So I'm going to chop this, find the best, and I'm going to say Valentine's Day gifts for mom. All right, so I have find unique gifts now as my call to action, but I'm over by 2. So let's see if I want to chop this down somewhere. All right, so I changed it to find a unique gift. I removed the now. So that is good. I like that. Now I want to combine that with another description line that might do some sub features. So here is where I might actually talk about the gift jack and maybe not the article itself. Or I could talk about the article itself and I could talk about the actual products in there. It's probably a good A/B test. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'll probably include the products. All right, we're at 92, so we got to remove 2 characters. Well, if you have an and, it's very easy to do that. Just throw an ampersand in there. And boom, now we're down. The last question, after I've written it, I decide, do I want to have an exclamation point? I feel like this is mom's Valentine's Day, so exclamation points can sometimes they add value, sometimes they don't. With something like this, I'm not going to include it because I feel like it's classier to not have it within the mom's category. For a daughter's category, I might have it, right? You want to be upbeat, you want to be more enthusiastic. But with like a mom or a wife, you might want to be a little more subdued and reserved. And so I might not include an exclamation point here. Totally up to you. I don't know if it really makes a big impact. I've never actively tested exclamation points, to be quite honest. I will say it depends on product and sub-theme. And then in your paths, just try and add like very relevant terms here. So Valentine gifts, mom gifts, right? Something like this. Paths used to be more important. Google doesn't really show them anymore, so I'm not going to talk too much about those. So as you know, what would be the next step here? Well, it would be to write 3 more ad copies for this same keyword. In this case, maybe we're testing unique gifts in the H2, and now we want to come up with 3 more versions. You need to decide what those are for your business. I'll do that later on. Quickly, what I want to do is just write another ad copy variation for Shutterfly, right? We talked about Shutterfly in the previous video, and I want to go through that same process for what I would do for Shutterfly. So here's Shutterfly's website. And then again, I'm just going to be looking to see what I see. I see photo book style. I see photo books up here, save 50% on photo books, a lot of different categories. So how would I go about writing an ad for Shutterfly? Well, one, I'm going to assume that they have a deal, right? Shutterfly always has deals. I don't know if you get their postcards or their emails, but these guys are always running deals. So when it comes to an e-commerce brand, if you are running deals, you want to include those in the headline 1 or headline 2. Your competitors, if they're running deals, you need to have a deal up there. I mean, just like, even if you're a premium brand, I'm still going to argue that you need one because people want to save money. So let's say that they had that 50% deal. I would put it probably headline 2. I'd probably say, hey, 50% off your first photo book. Something like that. I'm sure that's kind of what their deal is. All right. And look, that fits our length at 29. The other thing is I want to make sure I'm keyword stuffing the headline. If somebody is searching for travel photo book, you're gosh darn right, you should have that in your first or your second headline. If you don't, they don't know what your ad is about and they're going to scroll right by. So first try, boom, 30 characters. The best custom travel photo books, okay? Because you can customize these, so you better call that out. And then boom, there's your travel photo books. And then you got photo books in your second headline as well. Because they're Shutterfly, I'd probably do something like that. Shop at shutterfly.com. Or this is another best practice, Shutterfly official site. Let's do that as our headline 3. And then what do we want to do for description? Well, it's the same principle, at least to me. Keyword, value prop into a call to action. So there you go. That's 87. So customize your travel photo book, capture beautiful family memories, get 50% off today. And then your description line 2, I think it probably reads something like, so you don't necessarily need to have a call to action, I don't feel like, in description line 2. And so I'm trying to add some call outs to like a lot of different styles, a lot of different formats. And then I also want to have maybe the brand again because they're such a big brand. So I'm right at the character limit. I'm just going to chop off easily. Bada bing, bada boom, done. Path, photo book, travel. There you go. That's how I would just systematically crush some ad copy for Shutterfly. There's some other principles that we'll cover in future videos about how you could do this more programmatically. Ad copy is a learned skill. I will say there are people that are better at it than some. Some are more intuitive in how to do it. Some are really good at having accountability towards the testing structure. I would generally trust somebody who can hold the structure to an ad copy framework rather than somebody who's intuitively good at writing ad copy, because the principle is so important. Being able to test month in, month out for a long period of time for your product, for your business, for your service is more important than being able to write really fancy and intricate ad copy and being a copywriter, because you are going to see small improvements month over month. But in total, those add up to an enormous growth rate for your business. It's like daily or weekly compounded interest in your bank account. Think if you grew your bank account 1% every month or every week. That adds up over 12 months to a crazy amount. And it's the same principle with ad copy. As long as you're testing it in a structured fashion and you're thinking about it from a very rigid structure, you're going to be in a much better position. So as a recap, you want to make sure that you are building out what those thematic frameworks are for your ad copy. You want to think about how long you're going to run a test for, what you're going to be testing. Is it going to be the headline 1, the headline 2, the headline 3? What is it? Why are you testing it, right? Think about why. What impact or pain point are you having on the user themselves? And then finally, how are you going to actually develop that ad copy? Think about what's on your landing page. Think about what your competitor ads look like and really try and tap into the user. Really try and understand what the user is going to get out of visiting your website and be very transparent in what they will get from clicking your ad. Because if you write clickbait on Google search, you will get high click-through rates. That is not impressive. What's impressive is having good ROI or really good cost per conversion goals. If you found all this helpful, well then you, my friend, need to watch the next video coming at you now.